So now let's look at paneling tools. Paneling tools mean operation, and mean operates pretty similar to like the same concepts behind blend tool in Illustrator. In blend, you're taking a one line or one shape, and you're taking two different conditions, one line or one shape, and then another line and another shape, and you're creating a stepped blend between those two. So it's kind of a morphing tool or transforming tool to transform one into another, and that's pretty much sort of how mean works for paneling tools. And so you actually start with two cells, and so this would be a good condition if you're especially for those of you that are looking like transformation or morphing, or so that you can have two different conditions. This is a diagram of one condition, this is a diagram of another, and so your operative diagram, you use PT mean to create a sort of blend or morph between those two, and that's what's happening here. We're going from the first cell, to the second cell, to the center. So same thing, using attractor points here. I believe the two attractor points are the two corners. And so as you move away from those corners toward the center, you get a sort of blending of the center condition. So let's look at that. And I'm going to do it instead of using the same pattern, a squeeze. I'm just to illustrate this better, I'm going to do a circle, or we'll do a square and a circle. And so we're going to go from this to this. So let's go to the same place. You can find everything, the other scale and rotate. It's under custom 2D variable. Choose my grid. A base surface. There is no base surface. Enter through that. Now under pattern method, we're going to choose mean. It's the last option here. And we can use curve attractors. For now, let's use point attractors. So let's choose point. And enter. And so for illustration purposes, let's choose the two corners again. So 1, 2. So those are two point attractors. And first thing it says, select start pattern curves. So this is the first condition, the first cell. That's going to be this rectangle or square. Yeah, rectangle, I guess it is. Select second one. So what is it morphing into? That could be a circle, and enter. Sorry, let's do that again. For some reason it didn't take, so I'm going to go back, same paneling 2D, select the paneling grid. Base surface, don't have one, so we're still in mean. Point attractors, good. Same thing, two corners. First shape is the grid, the rectangle, enter. Bounding box, sorry, this is probably where I got mixed. There, it asks for a bounding box. I'm just going to use the shape itself as the bounding box, so I enter through that. Second pattern is the circle. Enter that, and I'll use the shape itself as the bounding box. And now it should. It's thinking a little bit here. There we go. So now you can see sort of what's happening here. So at the attractor point, you have the most rectilinear condition. As we move toward the middle, it starts to blend into a circular condition. So that's very similar to blend in Illustrator. It's a morphing technique, going from one cell to another. In the same fashion, you can really start with this also. So let's just let's copy that, and maybe what if we did something like this? Let's look at this. So, and we'll go back to, so as a drawing, let's morph two different types of squeeze. And now see, I'm actually going to use a bounding box, so we're going to get something, again, it starts to become a sort of how do you want a sort of patterned effect, or is it much more about a intensity of lines? And so this time I'm going to, again, we used point before, maybe this time I'm going to set a series of curves and use these as my tractions. Okay, you can maybe, alright, so this diagram, these curves could relate to something you've designed, spatial, circulation, light, I don't know, whatever. And so now I want to aggregate these, I want to morph this into this and do it as it moves away from these curves. So let's go to paneling tools, paneling from grid, custom to the variable, select the points to panel, base surface I don't have any, this time mean, this time use curve attractors, enter, select my curves that I want to attract to, first pattern shape is this, and I'm going to give it a bounding box this time, so it's going to have a lot of overlap. So that's my bounding box, so I can enter. The second pattern is this, bounding box is this. Now, what's going on? So let's just look. It's hard to see what's in it, but it's starting to get something. I'm morphing between the two, and now it's you're starting to get several different conditions of space. Something like this, and then linear. So again, I would really push you to play with this thing. Maybe creating overlays, maybe instead of doing a 18 by 18 grid that's the same spacing, maybe there's parts of your design that has a smaller grid spacing, because you can start to even break these. You can even start to break these grids down, something like that. Maybe there's one grid that's that, and then you create another grid that's not as tight. I'm just scaling these, but you can actually create different custom grids created from just an array. So I think that covers basically paneling tools array, or paneling tools mean. So morphing one cell into another.